saying thank you to each and every one of you for asking me to come and join you this evening for it in a while, and the important work that you're doing around families and children, people. The SINTEN, we call our SINTEN, children, come from a two letter from Kli, means valued, loved, needed, wanted. You can use it for all those things. Kli could be valued, loved, needed, wanted, and precious. It could use it for precious also, and you can also use it for expensive. It's all those things. So, when the Creator walked the land with our people, He gave us all our laws of how He wanted us to live in this homeland and territory. He made all the islands and all the mountains around us that are still here. They're still here today. They don't forget. Bartleby used to tell me, he said, those mountains are a gift to us people here. And then another time, as if we were still on the same conversation, but this is like another month or 2 months later, in the middle of just the middle of a conversation, he says, and don't forget to acknowledge those mountains around here, he said. Name them every day in your prayer, he said. He said, that's a gift to us. Thank you, Creator, for those islands up there, he said, in your prayer. And those things like that. And when we use the drum this year, it's one of the other laws that was given to our people of the first law. One of the first laws is don't kill just for the sake of killing. When that young man was chased out in the island we call Quinanich, the village over there, and they call it Salt Spring or Fulford Harbor, they call it today. Quinanich means it's facing Sandwich. Quinanich. And that's where the first deer was made. And that's one of the reasons we use this skin of the deer on here. And this circle reminds us of the law Unskill. Unskill means you get paid in life for the good that you do or the bad that you do before you leave this world. And so it's called Unskill. That law is our natural law that Sandwich people have always had. So when the Creator finished making the islands, he sent some of them from the top of the mountain out, and he threw them out into the ocean, and they changed to the islands. They became all the different islands with different names. Some of them were, one of the first ones he threw slipped out of his hand and just didn't go very far and just landed not too far, and just his chest went in the water, and it's called Indigenous nowadays. They call it Indigenous. It means his chest is in the water. He just became a part of the land. And then others out there, as they landed different ways and they got different names. And he went around and checked all of them, looked at all of them when it was done. And then he got to Substack over in Main Island and there was not much water there. Water wasn't too good. So he went to the end of the point there, he stood on the end of the point and he saw the snow in the mountains in the distance. And he prayed to that mountain and brought that water to that island there. In that place, they call JOZHEEZ on the end of that island where he was standing when he was doing that work, and his foot sank into the stone there. His foot's been still there. It's called JOZHEEZ. It means my sacred print is still there. It's like a sacred place where the water is still in there today. So there's some of the things like that that our ancestors spoke about from one generation to the next, that we have that value of our homeland and our territory. And this one I wanted to remind us of this evening is that our responsibility as parents for our children and our little ones. That we mustn't leave them vulnerable in the world. And they went to the family went out to the islands, and they were traveling through there, and it was similar to this time of year right now, where it's not really hot, but it's nice, almost like warm enough to go swimming. For kids can't wait to go swimming, but they arrived over the island they call Tucktuxin. They call it Saturna Island. We got over to Tucktuxin over there, and the water was down the far end. So they told the young girls, they said, go down into the water, we're going to make camp here. Go get some water, we're going to have some tea and that here. So go down there. And it's nice, they said it's nice weather, but it's not hot enough to go swimming yet. It's just get the water and come back. So they sent the little girls away, they went on their way to get the water. And they got down the other end and there was no parents with them, just the children. And they looked around and they said, "Gee, it's really nice here. Why don't we just go for a little dip, go in the water?" They said, "Nobody run over, just ourselves." So they, in their little naked bodies, swimming around in there, and in the water down there. And they got cold right away. The water's pretty cold. So they went up on the rock and they're sunning themselves to warm up again. And Kale saw them there. They're in a vulnerable position, vulnerable to the world. They could have got taken away or something, you know. Other things could have happened to them, but it was just the little kids who had no parent. So he wanted to teach the people a lesson. So he changed them right then and there on the top of that rock. And they're still there today. If you go look there, you can see their bodies laying there on the top of that rock. There are little stone figures of the bodies on top of that rock. And that rock is called Skull Watch. And it's one of the places that I remember in my prayer when I'm naming the islands. I name those places that are special. Skull Watch is one of the Cliffness is the other one. And when you're naming those islands, you try to remember those creation story places. Because they were taught a lesson that we can't leave our children vulnerable to the world. We have to make sure they're cared for in the world. And the world we live in today is another story again, isn't it? How we're living in this world together. Our children, we must look after, take them in and look after them in the best way that we can. That's our responsibility. So I thought I'd share that with you this evening as I came here to open this little work you're doing. It's important that you're doing this work together to take over control of and caring for the children, and that they're going to have what we call a JOZHEEZ, someone responsible for them, whether it's an aunt or an uncle or a family. And the CC is a parent, but JOZHEEZ, we refer to JOZHEEZ as the one that's taking care of them or being responsible for them. That could be someone within the family that's going to raise them up in a good way. My niece here asked me to come down. My late mother's daughter. I call her a niece until my brother's gone, and now that changes to Squanachas. The term we use, Squanachas, means that I take her on as my daughter as well and share what I know with her. And that's why I'm here, to support my niece. So I love my brother. We miss them, but that's what we live through, and the kind of things that we see, you know, go through. And they said, I know you're going to do your best. You're going to do your best in your work. And it's going to be meaningful in the future for the families to be able to have that connection to be able to bring those values into the future for our people. So Nico, that's all I have to say for that for now, and the children's song for that.